Hey everyone, Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist here. In this video, I want to create a short video here to talk about what you do if you're unsure about what is making your pain or your problem worse. So in a previous video, I talked about something I called shifting your pain triggers. And it's this idea that, look, you can do all the exercises you want, you can rub all the essential oils you want, or get all the massages, whatever you want that makes you feel good, you can do all of that. But in the presence of an environment that is not conducive of healing, because you keep nicking the scab, right, you're not going to have a very good chance of healing. You do 2 minutes of exercises or a couple minutes of cream or this or that, right, on your painful area. But then if you're in an environment that is yucky and that continues to aggravate your problem, you're going to struggle when it comes to healing. So, think about this. You go to the doc and you say, hey doc, it hurts when I do this. And they say, well, don't do that. That's the old joke, right? So it's like, why bother going there? So in this case, I'm a physical therapist. So it's pretty straightforward. Let's just say if you have a cut on your knuckle. So, if you give yourself a paper cut, well then it's pretty obvious what is nicking the scab, right? So think about it like this. So if you have a paper cut and it starts to heal, and then you look at it, and just when it starts to heal and scab over, you crack the scab again, right? You bend the knuckle, you crack the cut back open, and it starts to bleed, right? It would make sense that it just wouldn't heal if every time you did it, every 2 days, you just broke the heel, bent the knuckle, bent the knuckle, bent the knuckle, right? So if you have back pain, sciatica, butt, piriformis, hip problems, right? A lot of these things can seem mysterious. They often start for no reason and they continue for no reason. In fact, when I chat with a lot of people who have these problems, they say, I don't even know why this thing comes on. It's like the pain is completely random. It just hurts all the time. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. And I say, no, your job, because my back feels good, right? My job is to help coach you through this. I'm going to do that here in a moment. But your job is to try to discover, right, for yourself what makes it better and what makes it worse. So there's generally some pattern to it. Sometimes it's very clear, like in the paper cut example. When it comes to back problems, butt problems, sciatic problems, it's often not that clear. So if you're somebody who knows clearly what makes your problem worse, well then you need to temporarily stop and or tweak or modify that thing so it's not as bothersome. So that when you go to the chiro, the PT, the massage therapist, right, and their exercises and their treatments feel so good, you're not going back into life and bothering it again, all right? But if you're the person that has random pain, that can't seem to figure out what's going on and why it's going on, and why some days it feels good and why other days it doesn't, then watch this. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through a movement exam. And I'm going to teach you here in just like a moment a total body scan that you can look at the whole body and you can start to see which motions, because motions is key, it's a key word. These problems are motion-based problems, most of them. Most times it hurts when you're bending over. Maybe it hurts when you're lifting something. Maybe it hurts when you're tying your shoe or going up the stairs or walking or whatever it is. A lot of these problems are brought on by motion. Therefore, they need to be assessed with motion and they need to be outsmarted and or treated with motion. All right, so if you're not sure of what it is that's making things worse, then go through a motion exam and find the motions that are painful and then reverse engineer the process. So, meaning, I'm going to show you the body scan here, a way to self-assess your back, hip, kind of sciatic nerve problem and look at the whole body. And then you're going to mark the motions, or you can even go and experiment with your own motions, but you're going to find motions that don't feel good, that hurt or make your problem worse. Now look, I'm not asking you to purposely hurt yourself. If you know something is going to send you into a flare-up for a week or something like that, please don't do this. But, if you think you can tolerate it, let's go through some motions, and we're going to find motions that feel not so good. And then what you're going to do is then you're going to think, wow, when I do that motion of my leg or my back or whatever it is, what in my day, position or activity, motion-wise, looks like that? Okay, so here's what you're going to do. All right, so back this up. So let's just do this in a chair, all right? Hopefully you can see there. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to sit there, all right? And you're going to raise your, let's just say your right arm. So raise it as high as it goes, and you're going to see what happens. Then the other arm, as high as it goes, and see what happens. Does either one bother your back, your butt, your hip, your sciatic nerve, anything like that? If it doesn't, cool. But if it does, I just had a lady I was working with who, when she raises her right arm, it bothers her left lower back. Come to find out, she's short and is always reaching into a pantry. And she swims, right? So she's not really sure and says her pain's completely random. But when we go through the movement exam, raising her arm hurts her back and her butt. So then you have to reverse engineer and say, okay, that hurts now when I'm assessing you. What are you doing throughout your day that looks like this? Or looks like this? Get it? And then we found, again, she was reaching into a pantry because she's short. She's reaching into her laundry. Reaching, doing a lot of things that kind of use that overhead motion, swimming. And then, when we started to modify or change those things, her symptoms started to calm down. So her arm was somehow related to her back symptoms. All right, so that's an arm raise. So you've got the arm raise. Now, just go ahead and sit there and twist the trunk as far as you can. Left, as far as you can. Right. See what you've got there. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to bring the hip and the knee all the way to the chest. And on the other side, knee to the chest. And again, you're marking down any of these motions that are yucky, that hurt, that are painful, that don't feel good. All right. Now, maybe you've been stretching out your piriformis, and you think that it's helpful. But when you get in this position, you check this motion and this motion, you find it actually kind of hurts a little bit. It kind of pinches here, maybe in the buttock, maybe it shoots some stuff down the leg. So that's something you thought was good, but it's making a problem yucky. Write that down. Okay, now, this is a weird one. Kind of kick the heel out. Kick the other heel out. All right, we got those motions. Now, go ahead, I know you can't see it, but kind of raise your leg up. So from the side, straighten your knee, and then straighten your other knee. If you have sciatica, this will almost always be restricted. You'll notice that the one side goes pretty good, but the other side doesn't. If that's the case, start to think about, when am I sitting with my leg straight out in front of me? Oh, when I'm driving, my leg is extended like that. It really hurts when I'm doing the motion exam. I get that that would make sense, that it would hurt maybe when I'm driving, when I'm pumping the brakes. So can I move my seat a little closer so I'm not in that position? Or when I'm sitting on the couch and my legs are straight out in front of me, that's another position that I don't like when I'm going through a motion exam, and in my life, I'm not aware that I'm doing that. Or again, if this position is yucky, in the motion exam, how often are you, without even being aware of it, how often are you crossing your legs? You've got to be aware of that. Okay, so we did boom, 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 this one, this one, this one, this one, here, here, a kick out, and now let's look at some motions to the back. So you're going to stand up, touch your toes, center, so I just went straight down, go left, go right. What happens? Is there any type of major pain or problem? The next motions, go straight backwards, then go the back right corner, and go the back left corner. Tilt right, tilt left, raise the leg right, raise the leg left. So there we have it. 1, 2. Is it yucky or not? Boom, 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 boom. Kick it out, kick it out. The leg. Stand up, 3-way, checking all angles. Back, checking all corners. Side, side, leg, leg. So there you have it. It's not every motion, but if you've got buttock, hip, leg, back type problems. It assesses motions from above in this direction, this direction, this direction, and then some kind of twisty directions. So that's a quick total body scan that can assess how you are feeling and how you're moving. Through doing that, you're going to find things that feel good and things that don't feel so good. You're going to record the things or the motions that feel yucky. Maybe you find when you go like this, you feel a pinch in the hip or whatever. And then you're going to look into your life. If you're not sure right now what is aggravating this thing, you then have to say, of those motions that Charlie just brought me through in that total body scan, man, this is really yucky, this is yucky, and this is yucky. Or whatever it is. And you have to start to think, what in my life am I doing that kind of puts me in those same positions? And then you have to really zoom in on those things. Be aware of them. Maybe you're just doing it out of habit. Maybe you cross your legs out of habit. Maybe you sit in a certain position on the couch out of habit. Maybe you pick things up and only reach with one side of your body for a certain reason. All right? I don't know. But you've got to start to become a detective when it comes to solving your own pain problem. Because in the presence of having a yucky leg motion and then sitting on your couch, or I just treated a guy who sat at his desk and would take phone calls with his legs up, and the exact motion that bothered him was this. And he's going to the chiropractor not getting any relief. He'd feel good afterwards, but he'd go back, work, and for 5 hours a day, chilling like this. My wife has some type of pain in the back of her ankle. This can be applied anywhere, folks, okay? Anywhere, it just doesn't have to be your back. She has a pain in the back of her ankle. Call it whatever you want. It hurts when she does this. That motion gets her in the back of the ankle. So I said, she wasn't sure what brought it on. She tested it out because she knew I was going to ask her. And she said, I thought it was more clear. And we found out that this motion, whether she goes up on her toes, using her muscles, or whether she just puts herself into that position, bothers her. And I said, what are you doing throughout your day that puts you there? And she started to become her own problem solver. She realized that when she sat throughout the day on a rolly stool, she propped her feet up like that, and kind of put them up on the ledges there, right? She realized that when she did yoga, she would go into child's pose with her feet in this position. She realized that maybe when she slept, her toes were always pointed and kind of pressed in a funky position. That she sits on her leg throughout the day with her foot in that position. And then she wonders why at the end of the day she feels yucky. It's because she spent her whole day in yuckiness, in positions that were making her symptoms worse. But she wasn't able to. What's interesting is she wasn't able to clearly identify those things. So we said, let's go through a motion exam. Rather than trying to wrap our head around and come up with all these thoughts and theories, let's go through a motion exam. Let's find the motions that are painful, threatening, yucky, don't feel good or comfortable, and figure out what that motion is, and then what throughout your day. Okay? The last little tip of advice is if you have any type of ache, pain, or problem, please stop testing it all the time. I'm asking you to test it, but when you test it initially, we'll come back to that every once in a while. But what I mean is that when a lot of people have an ache, pain, or problem, a guy the other day, it hurts right here, and he's doing this all day. My neck hurts when I do this. And they just keep doing that, all right? So the point is there are sometimes it's very easy to identify the things that are making you feel worse. You go to the doc and say, hey doc, this hurts. What do I do? Well, stop doing that. Duh. Okay, makes sense. But still people poke it anyway, all right? But sometimes it's not. If it's not, go through, assess your body, discover new motions, and discover body motions that make your problem feel worse. And then take those motions and identify, okay, these are the ones that hurt. Try to reverse engineer that and think, what now are the motions in my day-to-day life and or activities that I'm doing that replicate that thing that makes me hurt when I assess myself. So, and then you need to temporarily modify, tweak, change those things to let things calm down, to put out the fire and optimize the healing environment. So hopefully that's helpful. Dr. Charlie Johnson, visit www.calldrc.com to set up a pain-free planning session. Would love to help you out. Again, hope everyone's doing well. Chat soon. Thanks.